Hey everyone! I am on day 46 of the GAPS intro diet and kind of just slowly transitioning into stage 5. And one of the exciting things about that is being able to lightly saute meats, which makes reheating things a lot easier in my opinion. So this morning I am making, well actually it's not morning, it's 1. I'm making lunch. I've kind of been intermittent fasting just based on the fact that I've been drinking juices in the morning and broth, and so I don't really feel like I need a meal in the morning. So it's 1 o'clock and I'm making basically an omelet, and I'm reheating some of my liver and ground beef and ground pork meatloaf with onion and kale, and I'm going to throw a couple of eggs in there and basically make a little omelet and eat that with some great kimchi that I just found at my health food store. So here is what I'm sauteing together before I've added any egg, of course. So it's just the meatloaf is all broken up. There's the last piece of the meatloaf so that you can see what it was like. Yeah, super easy. Just a piece of kale from my garden, a quarter of an onion from another garden here on the island, farm fresh eggs gonna go in there, and I'm gonna eat it with a side of kimchi, raw, unpasteurized, organic. It smells amazing. I haven't tried it yet, and those are the ingredients. So salted eggs with just a little splash of water makes them like the same as when you add milk to make scrambled eggs. And I have the temperature on medium-low, and I'm just going to dump that in there. So you can see it's like not super hot. And I should just mention I got some nice grass-fed tallow from a local butcher in Courtney, which is near where I live. And so that's the cooking fat I use for this. Ugh. So disappointing when you open up an avocado that has bad spots, but you know what? I'm just going to cut across there and still use this part, and I'll probably do the same to the other side and still have half an avocado to put in my nice egg meatloaf bowl there. Holy smokes, I'm so excited to eat that. That kimchi smells so good. And look at that avocado. You wouldn't have even known that like almost half of it had gone bad. So don't give up on your avocados if you open them up and see brown spots. Just cut around them, and most of the time there is some of the avocado that's still good. Granted, sometimes you open it up and it's just like all the brown is mixed through it, and in that case, take it back to the grocery store where you bought it. Like, they should know that that batch of avocados is no good and reimburse you, especially if it's more than one. But most of the time I'm able to get some nice flesh out. And I'm just going to take my enzymes and enjoy this, and I really can't wait. Okay, honestly, that looks so good to me. What a nice finished project. I would eat that and be stoked in a restaurant. I feel like even people that aren't GAPS would be so stoked on this meal. And that is just the best feeling. Like, I'm not depriving myself. I'm not restricting myself. I'm getting amazing benefits. I'm feeling so good. Finally feeling just like amazing. So much energy. Constipation is no longer an issue at all for me. I will say I did start taking some magnesium, and that really helped. So yeah, my tummy feels so much better. My energy feels so much better. Depression, it just feels like no longer an issue. I still have moments of anxiety. I think that that's getting better though. Like, I'm sleeping well without any supplements for that. And feeling like I'm making just amazing meals where I don't feel deprived. I feel like they're so good. So I really hope everyone else out there is starting to just feel as good about this way of eating as I do. Oh, and bonus. Again, like I've said, this is not about weight loss necessarily for me, but it is about a health journey. And on that note, I've lost 19 pounds so far in 45 days. So that's pretty exciting. Hope everyone else out there is doing well. So I just wanted to take one more minute to talk a little bit about how my symptoms are doing. So I feel like things are really starting to get better. I don't think that my rosacea has improved all that much. I wasn't sure if the GAPS diet would improve
my rosacea or not. But I'm still hopeful that long term it will get better. I would say that my psoriasis has improved probably like 50%, maybe more. It is one thing where I do sort of think that I sometimes it flares up a bit when I'm having almost like a die off. And so it's some days it's hard for me to tell. But I do think overall, like spots like in my eyebrows, around my face have gotten a lot better. The spot on my leg is currently smaller, not completely gone, but a lot better than it was originally. And the stuff on my arms is a lot better as well. So that's good improvements. In terms of keratosis pilaris, it also seems to kind of come and go. But I do think that overall, it's a little bit better. It's kind of like the rosacea. It hasn't cleared up as much as I had hoped. I sort of really hoped with the keratosis pilaris that it would just go right away, like quickly. But I do think it is improving, so that's encouraging. Now, fatigue. I feel like what has happened is that I now sleep better at night, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm more like ready to get up and I'm energized for the day. I do hit walls at work. I know I've talked a lot about how much I miss coffee, and those are usually the moments when I miss coffee, is when I hit that wall at like 3 p.m. at work or 3 a.m. in the morning. But in general, I would say, like, considering I'm not having any caffeine, I think my energy levels are really good. I have been a lot more active, like a lot more walks, and I've started doing like just little exercises at home that my naturopath wanted me to do, squats, push-ups, and planks mostly. So I'm trying to be very routine about that. I do not do it every day. I should, but I don't. But trying to get better and feeling good about the amount of exercise I have and the energy that I have for it. Like, it's something that I at least consider doing every day, and pretty much am getting good exercise in on all of my days off. So that is great. Digestive wise, I haven't had any issues since I started, other than the constipation, which has now cleared up. And I know I mentioned it, but I do think it's like really good to mention, like, I had to start taking magnesium. It's something that I've taken in the past and has been beneficial. So I think, you know, if you're struggling with constipation, try that. Because I didn't know what else to do. And I even did some enemas, and I don't think that the problem is actually in like my large colon, because it wasn't really helping me move that much, if that's not too much information. So the magnesium was a really good solution for me, and I'm still taking it. And I have also been taking the supplements that my naturopath gave me, which are a probiotic, a glutamine-based powder for gut healing, and a digestive enzyme. And then I have also started taking Vitex berry tincture which is meant to like help balance your hormones, because even though I had a much better period last month, or I guess it was earlier this month, I still had like pretty bad PMS symptoms, and my anxiety was really bad with it. And so I really want to try and get that under control, because it's been a source of pain in my ass for like 20 years? Yeah, so I feel like I'm hopeful. We'll see, I guess. We'll see next time. Should be PMSing. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, I've been taking almost 2 to 3 mils of Vitex berry tincture a day. I started taking some cod liver oil in capsules, and then I had a day where I had some pain again in my ankle that I had broken, and a little, like you could see a couple little spots of psoriasis, and I got really worried that I was reacting to something, and I thought I was reacting to the juicing. So I stopped doing that, and then I realized it might have been that I was reacting to the cod liver oil. So I've reintroduced the juicing. That's been going well. I don't think that I'm reacting to that. In fact, it feels good. Like I've just been having little juices in the morning. I do mix it with water because, like I said in a previous video, I'm pretty sure I've never been a juice person, and it's strong for me. It's strong and sweet, and just, yeah, I need the water. So this morning I had mint, lettuce, carrot, and celery, and I squeezed some lemon into it as well, just to, that tartness helps offset the sweet for me, which is really good. And yeah, so that's been feeling and tasting good. And so I know I kind of said I'm in stage 5, which I would say I am, because I have started a couple things. This sort of warming meats by stir frying it, or sauteing it, I should say. And I've had a couple things with like very basic spices in them. So ground pepper and like garlic powder, like the sausages that I found that have like no fillers or anything. They're from a local farm. They're awesome, but they do have spices in them, of course. So I have eaten a little bit of those. I'm being kind of slow and just listening to my body for transitioning to stage 5. Like those were things that I just felt like I was ready to do. I had absolutely no adverse reaction to them. I'm going to be a little bit slower with introducing the apple and the raw vegetables, just because I've been slow at introducing the juice. So I think I'll probably try cooked apple in like another couple of days, like maybe 2 days. I work a night shift tonight, and I work another night shift the night after that, and so maybe the day after that I will try like a little dessert of cooked apple with some ghee, because that sounds really good. I also see my naturopath in 2 days, and I'm going to talk to her about potentially trying the very slow reintroduction of some fermented dairy. I've gotten to the point where I don't mind not eating dairy. Like at first it was really, really hard, and I felt like I was depriving myself even so much more. But now I've gotten used to being on the diet, and I'm really just eating a lot of like meat and vegetables and broth, and it tastes good, and I feel like I'm lucky in that I'm a decent enough cook that I can make most things like taste pretty good. And I have lots of nice fresh herbs in my garden, so that always helps with flavoring as well. And just, I am just not holding back on salt. Like, salt makes things taste good, so use it to however much you need to use it, right? Like, especially on ketogenic diets, we tend to like lose salt because you sometimes when you go through like a whoosh, which you can Google if you want. It's very common to talk about that in the keto diet, which I did for about a year before I started this. You pee a lot more, and you like lose all the water weight that you have been holding on to, and it kind of, you fluctuate with that. But you tend to lose a lot of salt when you're going through those flushes. So yeah, if your body is telling you that it wants more salt, then eat more salt. Like as long as you have good kidneys, your kidneys are going to regulate your sodium levels anyways. So that's good. I'm trying to think about any other symptoms. Like I said, I had that one day of ankle soreness, and I got like really nervous that I was having more systemic inflammation. But overall, I have had basically no joint pain, no lower back pain, way less headaches. It seems like when I do get them, they're more related to die-off, and they're much more minor. I had one day where I did have a more severe headache, and I actually did take Tylenol and Advil. First time I've taken Advil on gaps. And unfortunately, it didn't even work to like fully take it away. What really worked was like eating a good healthy meal with broth and going to bed at night. So that was a bit of a tough day. But I had been up, I went to a Halloween dance, and had a great night. Of course, I wasn't drinking, of course, but of course I was like dancing, and I was wearing this costume. I made a dolphin costume with like made out of a hoodie with, anyways, you don't need to know about my costume, but anyways, I was basically dancing wearing full leggings and boots and like a hoodie zipped up with the hood on, because the hood was part of the costume. So it's really hot. So I feel like I might have just dehydrated myself. And also, because I was hot, I was going outside and people outside were smoking, which I don't smoke. And I feel like maybe that, like, the smoke contributed to me feeling a bit yucky the next day. It was weird. It was like a contact hangover, even though I wasn't drinking anything but water. But yeah, so overall, like, I just really feel like a lot of my symptoms have gotten better. I have, like I said, I've lost 19 pounds, which is awesome. And I just overall feel like my body is feeling better. I personally feel like my skin looks better. I know often when I talk to you guys, I'm like around night shifts or like in the middle of working, but I do feel like for the most part, like my under eye circles are better. Obviously on those days when I've just gotten off a night shift, it's not perfect. But yeah, so I hope that gives everyone a little picture of how things have been going. Stage 4 just was like, really helped me feel like the culinary stuff just opens right up. When you can roast meats and roast vegetables, honestly, just eating like roasted vegetables, I love, especially when you're like starting to drizzle a little bit of olive oil and things on stuff. It's so good. So yeah, like if you are watching this and you're in stage 1 or 2 and you're struggling, like hang in there, because it's worth it. And when you get to the higher stages, it starts to get a lot easier. You kind of have to regulate yourself more because there's more options. But it becomes, you feel like you're eating more regular food, and like you can go to your parents' house or something and they're having, and be like, yeah, you can make a roast and you can eat part of that roast, and plain roasted vegetables, or vegetables with herbs, fresh herbs roasted on them and stuff. So it gets easier. Bring your fats with you, bring your ferments with you, basically wherever you go. Make things like coconut water kefir to have as like a fun drink when other people are having fun drinks, and it will start to feel easier, I promise. I really hope everyone is doing well out there, and enjoying these fall days.